So today, my special guest is Jaclyn Powell, who is a New Yorker and lives in New York and Upper West Side, just like me. She is a screenwriter. Let's welcome Jaclyn. Hi, Jaclyn.
Um, Hello, it's so nice to see you again, Ching. I'm
Great to see you.
unfortunately, I'm on the Upper East Side. That's why I can't
Oh,
bump
East
into
Side.
you
Oh, I
more.
thought it was
Yeah,
Side.
yes.
Okay.
No,
Upper
the
East Side.
reason you thought that is because I want to live over there so badly that it probably reflects in everything I say and do.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So wonderful to see you. And do you remember
Thank you
how
so
we
much
met?
for having. Yes, thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me on. We met in at the 2023 Socially Relevant Film Festival this past year, where I was a judge for the short film category, and we met at several of the events through Nora Armani, who is the creator and owner and director and producer of the New York Socially Relevant Film Festival.
Yeah. So how does a judge for the screenwriter like do you have to read tons of screen script and then decide who will win?
I reviewed the short films that were submitted, not the screenplays, to see which ones would be submitted to the festival and which ones I thought were the winners and why. I always give a nice detailed reason as to why I think a film should go on, what's the basis, the story, the film production, etc. So
Wow.
it had more to do with the actual films. I didn't see the scripts.
Wow. So you tell us a little bit about your background and before you're a writer, what did you do?
Actually, I've kind of probably always been a writer. I always worked. I've just went through my life and I'm trying to remember relevant events, and I realize, oh, I that's right, I missed that because I was working, and oh, I missed that because I was working, even in high school, and I would not have time to study, of course. So when a test was due or something was due, I would just write a paper and slide through on a B. Like thank God I was a good enough writer to get me through school, and that lasted until college. I really enjoyed college. I was an English major, and I just loved it. I really I again got through college on writing, and but it still never was my focus to become a novelist or a writer. And I'd always wanted to be an attorney, but I started skiing in about 1977, 78, and I skied 65 days those first two seasons, and I knew I'd never be able to keep afford that schedule, of skiing that much each year because it's such an expensive sport. So I became a ski instructor after 2 years. And
Wow, that's
yeah,
cool.
I know. So I kind of diverted well, Nevada never opened the law school that they promised they were going to open. So I stayed with skiing and became professional, fully certified. I kind of have a master's degree as a ski instructor,
Wow.
and which is probably why I'm so loud too, yelling at the kids to the trees, get out of the trees, get out of the trees. So my family kept bugging me about getting a real job. So after I became, after I got my master's degree in it, I decided to get a real job, quote unquote. So I went back to school and got an associate degree as a paralegal, and got my first job working for the law firm that represented Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Police Department, Fire Department, Highway, Airport. And boy, did we have some exciting cases. Lots of wrongful arrests. Oh yeah. Oh. No, you would not believe, like, CSI should call me up. Okay, if you want some interesting stories, CSI Las Vegas should call me up because I have got some stories.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Yeah.
anyway,
But
that was
so
my
wait, wait,
introduction
wait,
to
wait, wait,
law.
wait. Wait, Jaclyn.
Uh-huh.
So when you say you work with, fire department, police, and
Mhm.
so who is suing who, or is it like a who, what kind of, litigation is going on between these departments?
Oh, well, mostly wrongful arrests, a lot of wrongful arrest cases against the police department. There was a really interesting one where the fire department went in. There'd been a fight between the police or something like that. Gunfire, fire was exchanged. The trailer burst into flames, and what happened was that the trailer was full of ammunition, so it burst into flames, and the fire department had to come in and put the fire out. So everyone sued everyone on that. So mostly we worked in defense of the Las Vegas the county, Clark County, and police officers who were being sued for excessive force. Some really, really interesting cases on that, I have to tell you. And my biggest warning would be, if you go into work like that, don't look at the autopsy pictures.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, don't look at the autopsy pictures.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah.
but from there, they were looking for paralegals to go down to Puerto Rico to work on the biggest multi-district litigation actually legal history, which was the fire at the DuPont Hotel Plaza, which killed 3,000 people. I'm sorry, not that many people, but there were 3,000 plaintiffs in the lawsuit. And so I went down to Puerto Rico, and then one of the largest and oldest law firms. Excuse me,
Who's that?
my dog wants to join in the conversation. Uh, anyway, and she's an actress. She's an
Oh,
actress, so it
oh yeah,
runs in the family. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She wants attention. Yeah,
But anyway, I
yeah.
got hired by the oldest and largest law firm in Puerto Rico, as the supervisor of the litigation department. And wow, I stayed and I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And I would say that took me from an undisciplined writer into an overly disciplined writer, meaning, everything had to punctuation, grammar, logic, lots of logic, law, applying the law to the facts. And the only creative outlet was actually when you would write to make American Airlines or one of the tobacco companies look like the good guy, because you don't have much leeway for creativity with a legal brief. But um, judges get bored having to read all those briefs, especially if they're not well written. If the logic's not there, if there's not something interesting in it. So learned to make the factual arguments interesting and direct and to the point, so that the judge could just go through. And I think one of the best compliments I got was when the judge asked the attorney who wrote the brief, and the guy said, "Well, sorry, one of my paralegals wrote it." And she goes, "It was great. And it was really
Mm,
logical, easy to follow, the facts, everything, boom, boom." So anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
that's great. One of my very close girlfriend, and has a daughter and son, and I was just asking, what is your daughter's major? She says English, and I was like, oh, that's a useless useless major. No, anyway, and she
You
said,
to
no, no, no.
no, to be perfectly honest, the only attorneys who could write were the ones who'd taken, who were English majors, maybe social studies or history, or but the corporate attorneys couldn't write very well at all. They're not well suited to, yeah. So actually, English is a great major for someone who wants to branch off into something else, because they actually changed the business school to make it a 5-year program to include writing classes, because business people are notoriously poor at grammar and punctuation.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me about it. But think back is think back, think forward. English major, it's like you can use in so many different places, right? And people have to write not just the film or artsy stuff, even the product, right? Anywhere needs good writing, and I think English major people very very needed. Yeah. So yeah.
Well,
Do
I have
yeah.
to tell you the social media promotion that you need to do. I don't have a manager yet, and
uh,
I'm like one of those people like, oh, I'm not really ready for a manager. But I have to say, this is so much work. The self promotion. I have 3 Twitter accounts,
Three.
one for the 2 movies, the feature and the short that I'm getting ready to produce. My personal one, where I post my personal political opinions because I think it's important that we speak up about issues. I mean, that is the theme of my movie. If you don't participate, you are a victim of the process. And I have, I think, just 2 Instagram accounts, but I have 5 Facebook pages, my own, and 4 for films. One film,
Me too.
yeah, right. And it's a lot of work. And then I am a member of the New York Women in Film and TV, longtime member, and that is one of my favorite stories about filmmaking. And I am co-host of their affiliate group, the New Works Lab, where writers, screenwriters, stage writers bring their new works that are in progress for us to read live. We have a lot of actors that are part of our group, and we meet every other week, and we read the works aloud, and we give constructive feedback. I'd like to say positive feedback because we like to be positive about the projects and everything. However, if there is I can pick out a plot hole in a feature film in a heartbeat. I'm like, wait a minute, where's that coming from? So it's noticeable, and it helps if you have people from the outside that are looking at your work and can tell you, this didn't work for me. The logic's not there, or you never introduced that before that needs to be introduced. So I like to think it as constructive, positive criticism so that people can know where to take their project from there.
Do you miss working in a law, law sector?
I actually do. I do in one way, because I can't do any math. And yeah, right, like, even the real estate portion of the bar exam was like, although I'm not an attorney, I have to say I did not take the bar exam. So I am not an attorney, but even on the bar exam for the real property law test, it's just like A owns something and B wants to buy it, but C has the lien and D is the holder, and boom, my brain shuts off. But I'll have a lot of people say, I don't understand any of these, like, I open the Supreme Court opinion and I can't make, even my stepmother, I remember her saying, how can you read that stuff? For me, it just, I read it, and I understand what the judges are saying. I understand the points. I understand when I disagree with them and when they're wrong. And I loved forming a cohesive legal argument. It's really fun to win on paper. I mean, a lot of attorneys talk about going to court and they're going to get in front of the jury and everything. But when I write something and the judge grants my motion to dismiss or grants my appeal brief based on the writing, the logic, and the application of the law to the facts, that was very exciting for me. So for me, I love it, and I do miss that part of it. The part I don't miss is working 7 days a week, maybe 14 hours a day or more, and never having time to think, and being brain dead by the time the weekend comes. So,
It can be stressful, huh? Can be stressful because
oh
you have
yeah.
deadlines, right?
Oh yeah.
And
And
uh, so,
attorneys are notorious for not doing any work until the minute it's due.
huh. I think we all need a deadline. You know, when there's a deadline, then you somehow yeah, work towards that. We have an audience ask you a question, which we probably already touched base about that. Juan Carlos Guzman.
Oh,
Um,
hi.
hi, Juan.
Hi,
Is it?
Carlos.
Yay! Excited. Where is Juan? Is he in Puerto Rico right
I
now?
don't think so anymore.
No. He said, Jaclyn.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
how did
Hi.
you?
No, I've known Juan Carlos. Like, oh, I love you, Juan. It's so glad, Juan Carlos. Thank you for showing
So
up. Okay.
he right? Juan is a
Yes,
he, right?
Juan. Yes, Juan,
Just to
Juan
make sure.
Carlos. It's Juan Carlos. Yeah, it's kind of like
Juan
one name,
Carlos.
Juan Carlos.
Yeah, young
Juan
Juan.
Carlos. Juan Carlos, thank you for asking the question. Okay, I had I'm not sure where it came from, but I got an idea for a novel I was going to write about. It probably had to do with something government was doing in the 2000s, in the late 2000s. And I had an idea for a thriller that I was going to write. And the topic is the government is going to try controlling healthcare costs by euthanizing the elderly and infirm via my secret method, which is in the movie called Kill Switch. And when I was telling one of the attorneys about it, I was kind of pitching the novel and the thriller to him. He said, "Forget about making that a book. You should just make that a movie." Well, when the law firm went south, I just took early retirement and I moved to New York and I took screenwriting and film and screenwriting classes and I wrote the screenplay. You had to have the 80-page screenplay done to graduate. But afterwards, I was kind of like, well, now what do I do? I have the screenplay. I have no idea what to do with it, and I have no idea if it's any good. So I went back to school and took a filmmaking intensive, and I made about 10 of my own films during the classes. And of course, was crew on everyone else's I may have done all together. But then I fell in love with filmmaking, and I have been rewriting that screenplay and getting it ready for production ever since. And I do have to thank Luis Oliver for spurring me to become a screenwriter instead of a novelist. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a great story. Yeah. And a subject is not relevant to screenwriting or being a law buff. How do you make yourself so beautiful?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, use a filter. Use a filter.
What
And
cream do you use?
I have to say I've been, oh my gosh, she's gonna love this. I've been a Dr. Perricone photo finishing moisturizing user since the 90s. Actually, since I lived in Puerto Rico, because it not only has a sunscreen, but it reflects light a little bit. That I eat well, I drink lots of water, I do face exercises, which will include smiling occasionally, which we forget to do it a lot when we're alone or in life. Um,
Is it smiling is because I was told like in models they don't smile much because if
oh,
you
they're worried about
smile you have more wrinkles.
yes,
Is it
but if
true?
you don't smile, you're gonna lose the muscles in your cheek that keep you plumped up. So great exercise, ladies out there. AEIOU and
A
smile.
E I O U.
Yes, don't worry
Okay.
about the wrinkles. Use a good moisturizer. And my other secret, Neutrogena, you're welcome. Dr. Perricone, you're welcome. Is I wash my face with Neutrogena's acne formula with the grapefruit in it, which has a little bit of salicylic acid. And I've been using that for years, and I leave it on my face sometimes while I'm in the shower so that it has a chance to it's very gentle, so it's not a harsh soap at all. It doesn't dry out your skin, but it gives you a gentle exfoliation. So I do that about once a day. So
Wow. That's very I
and I'm
forget.
lazy about wearing makeup. I almost never wear makeup. I put a little bit
Really?
on today because I'm like, if I put makeup on, I'll have to take it off later. So I don't want to, so I usually don't wear makeup because it's just like, I don't know, but
Uh,
then, just in case I don't wash my face tonight.
yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, you look wonderful. You look
Oh,
wonderful.
thank
You look
you.
like 35 years old. But
Juan Carlos knows how old I am, but he's going to keep that secret, aren't you, dear?
yeah, secret, secret. Yeah.
Mm.
Yesterday somebody asked me 5 times, like, how old are you? How old are you? I said, you're not supposed to ask, a lady how old, I
I
said,
know.
I'm 39.
And your new hair color is wonderful.
Oh,
Very
thank
ex
you.
very
Yay.
interesting.
Oh,
Cheers.
thank you. It's kind of a it's kind of red. They call what do they call mahogany? No, I forgot.
Okay, guys,
But
stick
anyway,
around. This is not a makeup class. Trust me, I'm the
yeah.
last person that's going to give you a makeup class. Oh, but I do recommend Clinique's face finishing powder. Wonderful stuff.
Oh, oh, okay, okay,
I don't
yeah.
have I don't have any
Oh,
base makeup on. I don't have any base
wow,
makeup on. I put on just a touch of
amazing,
powder to cut down the glare of the light, a
amazing.
tiny bit of color on my cheek. I freak
Yeah,
out every time I put color on my face because I'm so used to not wearing makeup
yeah,
that when I put something on, it's like, oh my god, like whoa,
yeah. Yeah.
Sorry
Oh,
about the flying
Jaclyn.
hands.
Yeah, Jaclyn. I had a photo session in
Oh,
end of December in Pittsburgh. This amazing photographer called George Lang,
mhm.
who now he is a house photographer for Pittsburgh Symphony. I knew him because my son plays with Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, and so he took some really wonderful picture for the members, and I love uh, the picture he took for my son. Anyway, so I had a session, and then it came. We hired a makeup artist. Guess what? She is amazing. So I am going to interview her like soon.
Oh,
Yeah,
great. Oh, I'll
yeah.
get some tips from her.
I
I'm
think
I'm wearing
she's.
pink today. I don't know if you can see that this is pink, but I'm wearing
Oh,
pink in honor
be
of
careful.
Barbie,
Be
in
careful
honor of
your microphone. Be
oh,
careful your
yes,
microphone.
sorry. In honor of Barbie and Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie, I'm wearing pink. It may not
Oh yeah,
show very well because it's
this is
yes,
pink too.
yes.
But
Just
yeah.
because the Directors Guild is made up of 75% is men.
Oh.
Only 25%, probably a small 25%. I would expect that's probably not really 25% are women.
Mm, mm,
And I think because of the Greta Gerwig interviews and the Q&As that I have
mm,
attended and I have listened to, the work she did as a production designer, with the production designers and the filmmakers outdoes even what she wrote in the script. For me, hands down, the best screenplay this year is Anatomy of a Fall.
mm,
Absolutely, and probably even best director. But the fact that Greta Gerwig was not nominated in the category for best director is kind of an insult to her because it was a brilliant production. Whether you, and it also is probably, it's just like last year, Top Gun was the top selling movie, right? Most attended movie, and yet it didn't get many Oscar noms. But I'm not sure what they're basing your movie is to please the audience, I hope in some way,
mhm.
right? And what Greta Gerwig did for filmmaking, for women in filmmaking, for film production design, it's huge. And I think they're just jealous that every single movie she's written has been an Academy Award winner. So
Yeah,
we're
Oscar.
wearing paid for her.
Yeah, Oscar. Whether you're getting nominated or win, it is not, a fair game. It's very political. It has to do, how you deliver, how much money you can spend promoting your film, because every film needs to be sent to all the voters. It's like a huge budget to just even
Right.
first of all getting nominated, and they win the thing. And yeah, it all depends, who likes who. And so it's not a science. Yeah,
If
it's
I
not
if
a
I could
science.
hire somebody to do all this other work for me, like right now I'm in pre-production on the short film and I'm doing a lookbook and I'm trying to find all the laurels and from the festivals that didn't send laurels, and I have to create laurels and find the
Mhm.
right photos, and I'm
Right.
doing that. I do that from maybe midnight until 3 a.m. I'll do that.
Wow.
And
So your short one is already finished?
Oh, the
Yeah.
film?
Yeah.
No, I'm
Oh.
just getting ready to start the fundraiser. That is the last
Oh.
shred of daylight.
Oh.
The Last
Oh,
Shred of Daylight has
that's true.
a
Uh-huh.
Twitter page, which
Okay.
is The Last Shred,
Hmm.
and the Instagram page is The Last Shred, and the
Hmm.
Facebook page is The Last Shred
What is about?
also.
What is about?
The abused wife of a tenant farmer thinks she has nothing left to live for when her husband abandons her and the failing farm.
Mm.
And the theme of the movie is when one door closes, another one opens.
Mhm.
And we are in the process of working with some of the domestic abuse associations in and around New York. Right at the moment, Domestic Harmony on Long Island, which is probably where we'll be filming.
Mm.
And for some reason, it just struck me that rather than my making this film here in English and then putting subtitles in, wouldn't it be more interesting if someone from India, because the story is universal.
Mm.
Rural women are often abused and overlooked. They
Mhm.
have no resources because they're kept from society, excluded from
Mm.
society in a lot of ways. They don't have any buddy and no external support system. So my thought was that I would share the script with filmmakers from other countries, and that someone in India, I have a friend in India who's looking, a screenwriter I took screenwriting with, is looking at it to see about making it in India. Also have a friend in Spain who's looking at it to see about making it in Spain, because I've always felt that the story could be made anywhere.
So you
It's set
mean,
in
yeah.
supposedly in Oklahoma. The setting
Oh,
is Oklahoma, but it's anywhere. It's anywhere in the world.
you mean you have different country people make the same script and then
But
each
translated to their language and using their
uh-huh,
customs.
uh-huh. I
So
see.
we would see maybe a Chinese woman, a
Uh-huh.
Chinese farmer's wife, an
Yeah.
Indian farmer's wife, and so they would have rights to make it. I'm working on how it would work out with the screenplay rights. They would have
Mm.
no rights to the screenplay credit as writer,
Mm.
but as translator. So it would be like Jaclyn Powell and whatever their name is.
How long
So
is the film?
it's probably going to be about 15 minutes.
Mm.
It's only 12 on page,
Mm.
but because it's a rural scenery, I expect that it might run to 15 minutes. And then my
Is it,
feature film, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
sorry, how many locations?
Oh, it's just one
One.
interior and exterior of the same
Mm.
location on Long
Mm.
Island. However, finding the locations I want, there's 2 or 3 places in Long Island I'm looking at. So, and I do want to mention, I'm not going to stop and write anything anywhere. I would like to mention Domestic Harmony again on Long Island is if you are suffering from domestic abuse, spousal abuse, even boyfriend, married, not married, you can contact Domestic Harmony for help, and they will help relocate you and get you whatever assistance you need. And right off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of the one in New York, but it is on my webpage. It is on the Facebook page for the film.
Do you
Um,
have the cast? Do you have people already lined up?
I'm in the process. I had cast before, but due to the hurricanes and the political situation, I stopped my fundraising in 2017. I suffered severe depression after the hurricanes in Puerto Rico. Sorry, still makes me a little teary-eyed. Anyway, so we're picking up from there.
Mm.
It's at a
So
new place.
are you like a one person band? Like you wrote the script, you're gonna be directing, you're gonna produce, you're gonna casting,
Mm.
and are you going to be
I have a co-director.
acting in it?
I have a co-director, thank God,
Mm.
Maria Dottori, who
Uh-huh.
works in commercial advertising and TV production, and I also have a production manager, TJ Mag, Magg. I have an accountant, Ann McNaughton, and I think I have my cinematographer. I want to have two. I'm going to have two cameras. I'm going to have a film camera and a digital camera, and someone on drone. for some of the some of the shots. So um, uh, yeah. So
Awesome.
anyway, I'm not alone this time. Last time I was
That's
alone
great.
on everything. Yeah. So I'm recasting because the cast from 2017 has moved on,
Mm.
has babies now in other places in other parts of the country. So I'm recasting.
Can we see some of your past work, like
Oh,
anywhere?
yes, I have. Actually, one of my very first film ever. It was my fifth day of class. I knew nothing. I mean, I was in class with kids who had cameras in their hands since they were babies. All these modern kids are with the technology, right?
Hmm.
And my fifth day in class is the film called Match.com, and it's on my YouTube channel, which is Jackie / Jaclyn, as you see my name spelled there, Jaclyn Powell. On YouTube, I have a channel there with all my short films. I think one of my short films you might have to see through my IMDb page, and I've got a couple on Vimeo. And my stand-up, I've got a couple stand-up performances on my YouTube
Oh
page.
yeah.
So I know, and so
Tell
far I haven't
me.
sworn. I don't
Yeah.
owe myself any money. I was so
Oh
afraid
my
I'd
God.
swear because I'm
Yeah.
really good with
You have to
F-bombs.
swear. You have to swear. That's the package. So tell
Yeah.
us what what made you to get into a comedian and do stand up?
Well, when I moved, well, I am probably I'm sure I'm America's very first class clown, female class clown. I have really, I don't think, I mean, because when I grew up, girls never said anything in class, and it was always the boys that were got in trouble. I mean, I was always the class clown from the first minute. I mean, even in church school, I always questioned authority, and I used to later. I would make excuses for myself and say, "Hey, George Bruns wouldn't pass up a line like that. Why should I?" So I've always been a wise ass, and I think from being so small and young, when I got to Las Vegas, I learned to swear like a truck driver as some kind of defense mechanism. Like, "Oh, fuck you, man! I'm tough." You know, but when I first moved here, before I took screenwriting, I kind of putzed around for a while before I got down to business. And the first class I took, I went to an open night at Gotham Writers Group. You're welcome, Gotham. I highly recommend Gotham Writers Group for anyone who wants to start screenwriting and doesn't have any technical knowledge about it. Just go there first because it's less expensive and it's 10 weeks and you can get started. And then I'll give you my other secrets later. So anyway, I went to this open night thing, and one of the offerings was stand-up comedy writing and performing. And I sat down, and it was an hour long, and at the end of it, I had a 5-minute comedy routine. So I went ahead and took the 10-week course and performed at the Broadway Comedy Club and a few other places. Like while I was going to filmmaking, while I was taking screenwriting, I went and performed a couple times. I went to the New York Film Academy. You're welcome, New York Film Academy. I went to the New York Film Academy for screenwriting and filmmaking because they offer wonderful intensives. I thought I was too old to go back to a 4-year college, so I just took these intensives so I could get it over with and get moving. But they had cafe, so I would perform a few times at the cafe, and every now and then I'll get up the courage to go out and do it again, but it's pretty stressful.
Were you were you
I'm funny, but
were you scared, or you were just like
my God.
a natural performer?
Oh no, I'm a natural performer. I mean, the thing is to get me to stop talking and not performing. I'm actually an introvert. I'm
It's
really
so
an
cute.
introvert. I'm so fine alone.
Okay, that's your page.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Joey, my dog. She's an
yeah.
acting dog. She
Should,
loves to act. There's a couple. That's one of my.
which
There's
one
a.
should we listen to a little
Well,
bit? No?
oh that one. If that one's a short clip, sure you can go ahead and put a little
Yeah,
bit of that.
we're just gonna play 1 minute or something. Okay. All right. No,
All right,
no. Yeah, we don't
up to
want to
you.
play too. Yeah.
And like while you guys were showering and washing your hair, I was re-gluing my boots because I decided not to throw them away after all. I like those boots. Yeah, so I was sitting on the floor going, you know, you're fucking nuts.
Can you go forward just a little bit?
I turned it on. I started to
Say it again. Sorry.
Move it forward a little bit.
Oh, little bit is what?
Yeah,
Tell me.
1 minute, maybe. Okay, right there.
And then okay.
And in Puerto Rico, it's hot, you sweat a lot, so you shower every day. It's just something nice you do for your neighbors. And you shave because you're in shorts and stuff, right? So I moved here and it was fucking cold. It was great. It was January. There's like 16 inches of snow on the ground. And I would go out and shovel snow, do this shit and that shit. Wow, weird, if you sweat, it's frozen, and frozen doesn't stink, so you don't have to fucking shower all the time. I mean, like, I hate taking fucking showers. I mean, because let's admit it, you got the hair mask, the shampoo, the conditioner, the face mask, the cleansing drains, the cellulite scrubber, the razor, right? And then you're all done with that, right? Yeah, and you do all that shit, and then you got the hair cream and the straightener and the blow dryer and this shit. And I see in the movie the other night, the guy says to the girl, "Oh, come on, let's take a shower." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, okay." No fucking way. Do you have any idea what I did to get ready for this date? And you want me to get in a fucking shower?
Okay.
So anyway, it was
Right.
it's
Yeah.
really fun to write it, and
Yeah.
like that was fun once I got going. But that afternoon, I had a film editing class over at 59th and West End,
Mm.
right? And I only had a little bit of time to get home, change, maybe eat, and get there. And I thought I would take a car service, but the car service went to the wrong corner. Okay, and by the time I got another one, I ended up getting home so late. Like I'm literally just eating a hamburger patty, throwing away the bun, have a hamburger patty dripping down my face as I grab my dress and stuff, and run out the door to get the subway to go to the comedy club. And I was like, actually, it was kind of like an audition, right, to be invited back. And I was actually late to my audition with, hamburger juice dripping down my face, and so stressed out that I broke out, and so yeah, people think comedy's easy. Yeah, once you get out there and start going, it is, but you comedians really rehearse their material. They really do. They polish it, they perfect it. I have some great routines, they're hysterical. But I don't practice it. I put more of my time into my screenwriting and filmmaking than I do into acting and comedy. I do background acting, but I consider that my continuing education for filmmaking. I got to spend 7 days sitting next to Martin Scorsese as he directed Bobby Cannavale and Harvey Keitel and Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro for The Irishman. Got to sit and hang out at the camera with Rodrigo Prieto. I wouldn't trade that for anything. More money at the time because I was non-union and it was 7 days, 16, 17 hours a day. But I would, other than that, working on film and TV sets is the best continuing education you can have. I would prefer to be a director's assistant or somehow be mentored in that. But to get into a mentorship is so difficult. If you don't know somebody, it's impossible to get in. So, or really hard. Right. Yes, you're right, Shark Fin. It is really tough on stage. And but as far as filmmaking goes, I watch these people. I watch Netflix used to give everybody unlimited money to shoot, and I watched someone spend 16 hours reshooting the same 3 lines from different camera angles with different lighting. And I've never seen a bigger waste of money in my life. There were about 250 extras, a crew of maybe 35, all on overtime for 16, 17 hours. So I learned a lot about preparation, rehearsing,
having lighting kind of ready before you start shooting, always taping a rehearsal, always taping, just keeping the camera rolling, not saying cut too soon. There's so much I've learned from being on set that I really don't mind being a background actor. Sure, would love the pay of being a principal, but I have to admit I don't spend the time studying. I occasionally I'll take an acting class. Occasionally I'll take monologue class. I'm really much better off the cuff than I am, just that stagey self-tape kind of thing, like stand here like this and self-tape and an audition. I'm a little bit better off the cuff than I am with that kind of stagey stuff. But I do
What?
put more of my time into studying screenwriting and filmmaking.
Yeah. What do you think between, because filmmaking has so many elements, right? You have writing, and then you director, producer, makeup and wardrobe, and you name it, actor, acting. Um, and in the end you have to do post, you have editor, and you have post, post and distribution. So what do you think, which part is the most challenge part?
Oh, well, the screenwriting and getting someone to notice your work. But when you come to filmmaking, you should come to it prepared. Even though I'm basically a screenwriter, I'm also a filmmaker, and there are so many things that a new filmmaker has to make short films and has to make films in order to get in. I'm not sure if at my age I'm ever going to be a famous director. Probably not, but I would like to be part of the filmmaking process. I love production design. I love the artistic thing of finding the perfect shot and the location, and I love doing set design. And like my apartment is even people film in my apartment, and I love production design, love wardrobe. My closet is set up like they do at the wardrobe house, with the blouses arranged by color, jackets arranged by color, skirts and pants, so that I can just go in and pick out like that, and put together an outfit. I like the whole process of it. Like Greta Gerwig, it's really fun. I think the hardest part, or the hardest lesson for new filmmakers, is going to be making sure you have the money for sound design. And oh my god, my Google wants to update now. Making sure of your sound design is even more important than your set. I would advise new filmmakers, if you're going to rent an Airbnb, bring your dirty laundry, bring your toothbrushes, bring your dirty coffee cup, bring a few things to put around to make it look lived in. I judged films for a few years for the Austin Film Festival, also judging them to see what gets in and what doesn't. And they have really high standards for story, that the story has to be good, but also the filmmaking needs to be good. And I would see okay films, and you knew that they were done in an Airbnb because the apartment was so sterile, or it was too upscale for the story. Your poor little orphan girls living in a 500,000 square foot mansion, making sure those little things can detract from your story in a big way. Poor sound, having holes in your story. Join screenwriting groups, have people read your work out loud, do table reads by Zoom so that you can hear you. If I told my group the other day, I got bored in a certain section of the screenplay because there was too much description, not enough action. And I've been bored in my own screenplays when I've had full table reads, and I go back and I'm like, well, that's coming out, that's coming out, that's coming out. Because if it's not flowing for you, it's not going to flow for the audience. And
Exactly.
and
So
then
yeah, I have a
sorry.
question,
Hmm.
for interrupt you. It's I always feel, I mean, for the last few years, that when people watch a movie, right, they'll say, "Oh, this movie's so good, so great." They pay attention on the actor, especially famous, and nobody said that was a very good writing.
Well, you without the writing, you have nothing to begin with.
I know
There is
people
no
don't
like
realize
like
that.
I'm quoting James V. Hart, J.V. Hart, my friend, one of the best screenwriters, Dracula, Hook, August Rush, which is my favorite film of his. Sorry, everybody else, but it's
I
August
love
Rush for
it.
me.
I have a
I
tape.
know, right? But as he says, no one gets a job until you write the end. All right. So we provide jobs for for wardrobe people, hair and makeup people, set design, production design, props, locations, location managers. We provide a lot of work for a lot of people, and thank you. Yes, yes, Ching is very talented. Her filmmaking is great. So all of these things go into the filmmaking process, and you need to pay attention to all of them. So I highly recommend for screenwriters to go take a filmmaking course somewhere. Don't just go make a film and then disappoint yourself to find out that it's just because even my beginning ones, even the ones that's good, like Match.com, they use it in class for a demonstration of a mise en scene, and it was good, but the lighting wasn't good. But I didn't know. It was my first day of class. I didn't, I knew in my mind at the time I was making the film. I knew that the lighting over there wasn't good, but and I love working off the cuff. I love that movie Nomads. That I can't remember the director's name
No, no
offhand.
man's land. It's
Frances
a Chinese girl.
McDormand's film.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Chinese.
Chinese woman's
Mm.
first Academy Award winning film, I think. But she flew off the cuff. It wasn't like she didn't have Netflix there giving her $1 million to get up on a crane. No, she got up on the back of the truck. I admire that so much more, and it's so much more fun to make a film when you do a little bit off the cuff. And I had time when I made Match.com, I would have run upstairs to my apartment and gotten a floor lamp to put in the corner of the part of the restaurant where it was a little bit dark. So these are things you notice afterwards. Editing is super important. But your editor has to know story as well. So the
Do you
story
wish
has to be good.
do you wish to edit yourself?
Well, I've taken a lot of film editing classes, and I do love film editing. It's just, such a thrill when you get that. I will say there's a short I made for $30 in 7 hours for a 24-hour film festival called Royal Caper. Okay, the film's not great. It was shot in here. My cinematographer didn't even have a zoom lens. I had to move his body around. I literally moved his body around it to get shots and stuff like that. The girl was reading the script. The actress was reading the script because she didn't have any. I mean, she came from an overnight shoot to come shoot this. I didn't even know I had the actor until 7 o'clock at night. So but the opening and closing, I'm so proud, and the scene where she's in the bathroom and we do the jump cut to the bedroom, I'm so proud of that cut. It's just like it was such a thrill to find that perfect slice. And yeah, I'm really proud of the opening closing credits of that, and the fact that I wrote that script in 3.5 hours and filmed it in 7. It got honorable mention in iWIF's Roku's online film festival, co-hosted with NIWIF. But yeah, there are exciting moments in filmmaking. But that's a
Yeah.
joy of it, is something like that. It's like that I would the film editing software is so complicated. It is like a
What
spaceship.
what do you use?
I use DaVinci because DaVinci is so kind as to let you download the software. Number one, they download the software for free. I did buy a license out of gratitude for the fact that they gave me $10,000 worth of film editing classes free. All
Wow.
right. They gave classes 4 hours a day, 5 days a week on each aspect of the interface, which is sound, quick cutting, special effects, rotoscoping, I can't even color. I mean, can you imagine an entire week? Like when I went someplace to try to take editing classes, it was $4,500
Wow.
for Avid classes.
Yeah, Avid. Nobody
So
uses Avid anymore, right? Is it? I
no,
haven't
but
heard.
well, Da Vinci is what they use for color grading anyway.
Mm.
To begin with,
Yeah.
even feature films, no matter what you shoot in, what you edit in, they used Da Vinci for color grading.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I still use Final Cut Pro. When it came out first, I had a Final Cut Express. That was $2,000. two thousand
whoa,
dollars. But since I studied a crash course in NYU, so we can go to the NYU bookstore to buy it for
oh,
$300.
oh
Still a lot,
wow,
right? Yeah, 2008.
right.
Then Express move on to Final Cut 7. You know, and 7. I don't know if I spend money on 7, and then Final Cut 7 very soon. Apple do not support 7 anymore, so people have to move on to 10. And it took me 3 years to move on because I refused to move on. But finally, yeah. So I did my entire. That's $300. A
Well,
software.
I'm a Da Vinci. I'm a Da Vinci fan. It's actually easy to move in between the programs, but there's so many drop down menus.
I want to learn.
It
I
is a
want to.
rocket ship. It is a rocket, like a rocket ship. But all
Uh-huh.
those things that you can't find in all the other programs, there is an individual page. If you want to do color grading, you just hit the color grading page, and you have you have so many options, like way too many for my brain
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
absorb. Yeah, but you want to go into special effects, you need a rotoscope, you need to green screen. You can do
Mhm.
everything with it, and it's so much fun. I just don't use
Awesome.
it often enough to have it, like, it's not embedded in my memory. And
Yeah.
I owe a friend uh, a correction to her film. I promised her I would re-edit it for her, and I think I'm going to turn it into an animation. I think it would work much better as an animation. So my my promise to
Great.
you, Irene,
Uh-huh.
small, here
Uh-huh.
in public, in front of everybody, in front of God and the world, is that
Mhm.
I will edit Night Baby Night and make it into animated story.
That's great. Editing is very disciplined. Editing is not as sexy as people shooting. Editing is like you sit there.
It's sexier. It's
Yeah.
sexier.
No, no, no. No sexy meaning nobody's looking at you. Nobody's,
Well,
knowing you're doing that. So it's a very disciplined
it's
work.
yes, but it's such a seamless art. It's like the best films have great editors,
Yeah.
because like I've seen really shitty good films. I mean, good cinematographer and anything, but it wasn't edited properly,
Mm,
and it can kill a film. And
right.
you can make a film like one of my films was saved only on the editing, and it was just a school project. It was a
Mm,
Chekhovian film. I
mm,
had some problems with it, but through the editing, I was able to cover up a lot of the problems. I did some insert shots, and through editing, was able to cover up what would have been a disaster. Even though it was just for class, it was a big deal to me because it was
mm.
the first use of dialogue in film. It was the class where we used dialogue for the first time. So it was a really big. The classes were broken up into learning continuity, learning lighting, learning what a mise en scene means, learning, all different aspects of the filmmaking itself, directing. And I find directing hard because I'm so direct.
Yeah.
I'm abrupt.
You're the boss.
I'm a better
You're
as
the
an
boss.
assistant director.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a better as assistant director. Let
Yeah.
somebody else talk to the actors. I saw the way Martin Scorsese talked to the actors, and he's so kind and so gentle within them. And I'm like, look, do it again. Get angry. You really can't do that. Actors are very, very sensitive. They need to be babied. So that's where I think my co-director will excel. She has two twin daughters, so I think
That's
my
great.
my co-director will excel
Yeah.
at
That's
that
great.
aspect.
Jaclyn, I need to wrap up very soon because I have a meeting.
And I
My
did want to answer the one person's question. I am
Oh,
not Puerto
oh,
Rican. I'm
oh,
not Puerto Rican, but I lived there for 25 years, and the people I worked with were family.
wow.
And we spent holidays together because we worked all the time mostly.
Mm,
So
Mm.
Yeah, so yes, that I just saw that. I didn't see any other questions, but I did see that one pop up, and I
Yeah,
did want to answer
Louis,
that.
Louis's parents is from Puerto Rico, so I think he's talking about, yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Louis. I wanted to thank our viewers here and also thank people who are listening now or later because this program will become replay right away after we finish, maybe 5 minutes later. And Shark Tech, thank you so much for always supporting my program. Lewis is a tech for your need. Lewis has a YouTube channel talk about technology. Juan Carlos, thank you so much. Who else is here? And let's see, we have, yeah, thank you guys so much for being with us. And I I just want to let you know that I thank Jaclyn, yeah, for this very fun and informative talk. And I wanted to tuck in that when you say my film, yeah, my last major work, my Young Gun Diary, is on YouTube channel now. I just release it on here because I want people to watch. It will be no advertisement, although I am qualified to what do you call monetize. So I want people to watch from beginning to the end. So hopefully you guys will check it out, my Young Gun Diary, and it's on my channel, and it's also on Amazon. But you need to pay $1.99, which I think you can afford. What else? Yeah, and I do this talk every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern time, unless this person is in Europe, and then we do it earlier, okay? Because the European. So, last word. I have to finish in 3 minutes. Last word, Jaclyn. Do you have anything to add on?
well, watch for The Last Shred of Daylight to come out later this year, and my feature film, Kill Switch. I'm still working on getting the director I want. It's a female director that shot something in New York in 19 days in 25 locations, and that's to me, yes, right. See the look on your face when I heard that. I'm like, that's the person I need. So, I am putting together a team for Kill Switch, which will hopefully go into production after I finish the short. I thank you very much, Ching. It's really a pleasure to be here. I'm really flattered. And I hope I've inspired someone to go to film school or change your career. Get out from behind the desk, stand up, get some exercise.
Yes, yes. Do something you love to do, right? Not because
Yes,
you're getting a regular salary. Yeah.
yes.
So, yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And we're gonna end this. Yeah, we can talk to Jaclyn some other time, maybe 3 months later, and to
Oh,
see her
great.
film.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you,
Thank you and good
everybody. I'm
night.
gonna end this